Hi guys, welcome to this Money Control live stream. You're watching Morning Trade with me, Nandita Khemka. It's a brand new week and the cues coming out of global markets are fairly positive. Wall Street shut shop above that the 5,000 mark for the S&P 500 for the first time ever. Asian markets thin trade. Some of the markets are shut on account of holidays, but Gift Nifty hinting at a very strong start for our Indian market. Plus, we'll also be getting you what's happening in the oil markets with a very special guest on the show who's come down all the way from Australia to join us in our studios. But of course, as usual, we will be getting all your stock-related queries answered by our expert as well. So if you have any queries, keep them coming in on our YouTube feed. We'll try and take them up. But of course, before we head any further, let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour. It was a record-setting week for Wall Street. The S&P 500 ended above that 5,000 mark for the first time on Friday. Meanwhile, the US Labor Department revises December's inflation print lower than first reported. Most Asian markets remain shut for the Lunar Year holidays, but the Gift Nifty is signaling, a very strong start for our Indian markets above that 21,900 mark. Oil prices post a weekly gain. The Brent currently is hovering around that $81 a barrel mark as hopes of a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continue to fade. Meanwhile, gold edges lower for the week as rising yields hurt the safe haven demand asset. Retail inflation for the month of January and the industrial production data for the month of December are expected to be announced later today. Estimates hint at a possible moderation in inflation on the back of slowing food price rise. Hero Motocorp reports a strong third quarter performance with a 50% jump in profits. Meanwhile, ONGC reports an inline third quarter with crude realizations at $81.6 per barrel, but margins disappoint. And third quarter earnings of Divi's Labs missed the mark on all fronts. However, the management remains confident of double-digit growth in FY25. And among stocks in focus, Paytm parent 197 forms an advisory committee chaired by former SEBI chief N. Damodaran to work with the board in further strengthening compliance. Meanwhile, Coal India, Bharat Forge and HAL will be in focus ahead of the third quarter earnings later today. Well, on that note, let me get on board our technical expert for today. Joining me is Rajesh Palviya of Axis Securities. Well, great to have you on the show, Rajesh. As usual, every Monday morning, taking out time and joining in. Thanks a lot for that. But look at the Nifty setup, right? On Friday, we saw a very good rebound from the day's low. The Nifty Bank Index also defended that crucial 45,000 level, right? And Gift Nifty this morning hinting at a strong start, 21,900 could be on the charts. So what are the levels that you'll be watching out for on the Nifty as well as the Nifty Bank indices on the upside as, as resistance?
Good morning, Nandita. So, Nifty is holding about 21,700 mark. That's the important level to watch for on the downside. Till Nifty is holding about 21,700, 21,650 level. Trend is likely to remain on the buying side only. Overall, put-based concentration is placed at around 21,600, 21,500 zone. So that area is protected by the market on the downside as major put writers are writing their position around those strikes. So that seems to be act as a good support area on the downside. On the higher side, yes, if at all we open above 21,850 level, then we might see a short covering action in the market as Gift Nifty is indicating that, we are opening higher. And so 21,850 is the key level to watch for after opening. If it's processed, then possibly we can see a short covering action and then Nifty can show further more upside towards 21,900 to 21,950 in the continuation of this pullback action. So overall trend is bullish. Buy on dip should be your strategy. Your stop loss should be around 21,650 to hold your long position. On the higher side, 21,850, 21,900 are the immediate target where we can see Nifty to move further higher. In the Bank Nifty, very interesting move in the previous session, 45,000 defended by the market. If we analyze the overall structure for the market, Bank Nifty is also holding the ground around 45,000. Major put writing activity was witnessed in the previous session around those level. So for trading point of view, 45,500 is the key level for today's session. If we hold those levels, then yes, there could be another round of rally we can see in today's session, and possibly Bank Nifty can also move further higher to 45,850 to 46,000 That's the major call concentration area on the higher side. So 46,000 level needs to watch in today's session. If we crosses those level, then there would be again, short covering action would be there, because 46,000 is having major call based concentration at this moment. So that level needs to watch in the today's session.
Right, that's the, of course, those are the levels to watch out for on the Nifty as well as Nifty Bank Index for the day. But hold that thought, Rajesh. We'll come back and talk about specific stocks. We'll discuss all our stock-related queries that are trickling in this morning as well. But on that note, let me bring on board our guest, our other guest, a special guest for today, who's joining in, in our studios right here, and he's come down all the way from Australia. Peter Mcguire, CEO, Exim Australia. Great to have you in the studios once again, Peter. I remember last time when we spoke about crude, it was pretty volatile. But this time around, crude has been pretty much ranged, right? Between that $78 to $82 a barrel. We've had Middle East tensions, we've had Red Sea disruptions, and we've also had the China slowdown playing out, right? But crude has remained pretty much range bound.
Absolutely.
But going forward, do you expect a breakout from these levels?
Well, good morning and lovely to be here in Mumbai. I think it will probably move to the upside, and I think there's a number of reasons for that. First off, you've seen that US dollar come under some major push to the upside because of the rate cuts that we thought were going to materialise in March. The geopolitical tensions seem to be not really subsiding too much. And in actual fact, they may even escalate from here. So we've just got to see where they roll. Also, we're looking as far as what's going on with Ukraine situation and Russia. We're conscious as far as other geopolitical concerns. And overall, I think that the appetite for crude is going to be stronger from here as far as dollar-wise. So I won't be surprised to see a couple of dollars higher in the short to medium term.
So what is the level that you're penciling in? Would you say that we could make a dash at $90, or that's, a far out
Well, it depends
target?
on the geopolitical concerns. Depends on things, whether they escalate from here. It's been a slow start to the year in a lot of ways because, as you mentioned, it has been very much range-bound over the last month or so. But I think that there's a nudge higher, and we had a little run up over the last couple of weeks and then it pulled back. And I think it's going to, that edging up as far as where the range sits, probably more that 78 to 85, and it may even hit 90, I'm not sure. But I think it's an incredible market at the moment to trade because of the volatility that presents itself.
Right, let's talk about the demand supply dynamics, right? International Energy Agency has raised the demand forecast for the year, and that was for a third month in a row. But do you expect more, OPEC cuts going forward, or do you think that's out of the way for now?
Well, I think that where you sit, Aramco came out and they pulled their from 13 million to 12 million. So there's the first part as far as the Saudis. The second part is I think that they want higher prices. So that's going to be interesting how that plays again into the end of the first quarter and running into the second quarter. And all of those factors will, I think, present themselves to possibly OPEC on where it sits. If OPEC look and they say, well, we really do want a higher price from here, then naturally I think you're going to see consistent cuts as far as production, which in turn will probably push up prices higher.
Right, let's talk about other asset classes now. Gold, it's holding up above that $2,000, mark. But, if you look at the US 10-year yields, they are elevated, right? 4%,
Yes.
In excess of 4%. But do you think that will take off some bit of appeal from gold, which is looked upon as a safe haven asset?
Well, you've got to look at where also that US dollar index is. It's above 104. It's only just a touch above it at the moment. But yes, it's very range bound. It's again that 2030 up to 2070. It gets to a little bit higher and then it pulls back. So it's just offering, I think, from a trading perspective, big swings, which are nice for a trader. As far as upside potential, yes, I'm looking as far as we've got data releases this week. We've got issues as far as I noticed one of the banks in the US had a really big pullback as far as price, 50%. So all of those factors as far as commercial real estate and debt, the property market in China and alternatives, with Bitcoin above 48,000 now, I think that there's going to be an attraction that maybe people are looking at, just as another asset, a very significant asset class, and don't take your mind off the central bank buying, which has been enormous, plus consumption from India.
What about equities as an asset class? Now that the Fed rate cut timeline may have been pushed to the second half, equity markets were penciling in a five rate cuts this year, but that ain't happening because the Fed chairperson himself has indicated that we could wait more, to dole out a rate cut. So in that sense, do you think we are in for a correction where equity markets are concerned?
Well, look, it's been you can't deny it. It's been just extraordinary. What we saw from this time last year, or even 13 months ago, and what we saw again from October, November, and December were just outstanding. Who could have thought that the S&P would, smash through 5,000? So there's the, I was only a little while back and it was 4,500 and people said, is 5,000 achievable? Yeah, it probably was, but it's marched forward very, very quickly. So any market that goes up as quickly as it can have a pullback. We've just got to see what goes on as far as CPI, how the job numbers are, US dollar, and there's a number of other factors also, those geopolitical concerns and global consumption. And inflation really, in some ways, yes, it's pulled back a little bit, but it's still very, very high with savings rates at extremely low levels back to 2007, 2008 for the American consumer.
When you speak to your clients, anything that you are hearing about US tech? Because, of course, we've seen US tech rally quite a bit, but we've seen stake sales coming in, right, for Meta, a case in point. Do you think the US tech rally has peaked out for now?
Well, all I know is I look back at last year, it was at 10,000, just over, and now it's just under 16,000. So, it's been extraordinary. It's 60% up. Markets do get exhausted to the upside. We saw those poor numbers coming out as far as Tesla. I just want to see, this quarter's performance. I want to see next quarter's performance. And, as the earnings are released, then you get a true indication as far as consumption. But at the moment, there's strong spending and there's strong consumption. And that really is demonstrated by share price and, of course, the attraction of that Magnificent Seven. Though maybe they're not as magnificent. There's one that's not as magnificent, and that's Tesla. So we've just got to see how that materialises, and that will tell you the picture as far as stock pullbacks or a continued rally to the upside.
Since you're in India, let's talk about Indian markets as well. We've hit new highs as well here. But now we've turned a little bit of, into range-bound trade. And there's bouts of profit taking as well. But within the EM pack, emerging market pack, how is India looking to you?
I think it's extraordinary. I was at a presentation the other night with President Modi, and when you're talking about, the railway, like what's happening infrastructure-wise, have a look at Mumbai. It's just everywhere you see is cranes, construction, building, use as far as base metals in everything from roads to tunnels to to tracks. So when you've got that sort of growth, it's very, very hard to really see an end game, because I just think that it's going to be very strong over many decades for India, because it's moving at such a pace. You've only got to look at your GDP. You'll be the third largest economy shortly in the world. It's just extraordinary. So yes, it's range bound, but look, that's not unusual. Markets get to a point and they even out. They take a breath. And sometimes they get exhausted to the upside, and I don't think that's India's case at all, but it's just taking a breath. And it's sprinting hard, and sometimes you've just got to sit down and just relax a little bit and wait for that momentum to build again. But there's certainly, huge consumption internally, and it's a dynamic country.
Right. Lastly, you mentioned Bitcoin, right? We've hit rock bottom. Now we've, come back to $48,000, right? Between gold and Bitcoin, would you take a pick?
Oh, I think it's got to be both, when you're looking at that. The reason why is that gold is such a huge attraction. You're talking about an asset class that's been around for millennium. So there's thousands and thousands of years, whereas Bitcoin's, maybe 10 years. I don't know the actual number, but no, I can't say that gold's... I think gold is just a huge component to any equity, any market. Not only market, but a substantial part of our wealth and the way that we deem things is very much gold-centric. As far as Bitcoin, it's alternative. It's outside the central bank digital currency. So this is the attraction for many investors globally. They want to be a part of the Bitcoin storyline and other coins. 16,000 last year, now 48. It's just enormous, and I won't be surprised for it to, nudge 50,000 very, very shortly. So there seems to be plenty of momentum to the upside for Bitcoin.
Right, plenty of momentum upside on the upside for Bitcoin. With that, Peter, I'm afraid I'll have to let you go at that at this. But it was a pleasure having you in the studios, and I hope you're enjoying your India visit.
I certainly am. Thank you, Nandita.
Thanks a lot. Well, with that, let's shift focus to stock-specific action then. Rajesh is waiting by. Rajesh, Hero Motocorp came up with its numbers. Of course, 50% jump in profit. Margins also, impressive. Given the fact that the stock has seen quite a bit of run-up, vis-a-vis the likes of Bajaj Auto, where would you expect the stock to head today? Do you think it'll be a sell-on news kind of a setup today, or do you think, the stock is headed high from here?
So, Nandita, we have seen a very strong rally since last couple of months. Stock is continuously making higher high-low formation. That clearly shows there is a sustained buying action is taking place in the stock prices. Stock is enjoying all-time high trajectory. Looking at the overall structure across all time frame, it's in bullish trajectory. Though results are good, if at all any profit taking comes post this outcome, I think again in the decline, it's an opportunity to buy this stock. On the downside, the important support area is at around 47.50. That's the major support area on the downside. If at all stock not breaks below 47.50 level, it's again, buying opportunity in the decline to buy and accumulate this stock. On the higher side, 49.60, if it crosses, then possibly this rally can extend towards 5200 also for Hero Motocorp. So overall structure is bullish. Buy on dip should be your strategy. 47.50 should be your level where you can buy with stop loss of 4700.
All right, that's the view. Buy on dip should be the strategy here. But since I was talking to Peter about oil prices, let's address a few queries on some of the refineries as well as companies like ONGC that have reported numbers. Of course, ONGC reported an inline sort of numbers, but margins were, disappointing, so to say. And this morning we have a query coming in from KRK Rao, and he wants to know your thoughts on OMCs as well ahead of the general election, specifically IOC, BPCL, even MRPL and Chennai Petro. What is it that you're spotting on the charts with respect to these stocks?
The whole oil and gas basket is showing good traction since last couple of months, and I think looking at the near-term, short-term structure, stocks are in a bullish trajectory only. Be it refinery, be it oil marketing company, all are in bullish trajectory. If we talk about ONGC, overall structure is bullish, and looking at the near-term, short-term structure, if at all stocks holds above 255 level, then possibly trend is likely to remain on the bullish side for near term also. And on the crossover about 278, this stock can continue for the more upside. We can see a target towards 300 plus kind of level in the ONGC in the continuation of this uptrend. So 255 is the important level to watch for in the volatile market. If you talk about the oil marketing company, BPCL is also showing good traction. Stock is comfortably now holding above 600 mark. Looking at the near-term, short-term structure, we believe that now if it's hold above 600, then possibly we can see target towards 645 to 650 in the continuation of this up move. If you talk about MRPL, after a strong rally, now stock is consolidating since last couple of trading session, but overall structure is bullish for MRPL also. 180 is the important level for near-term setup. If it continues to hold above 180, then possibly sooner or later we can see a momentum further higher towards 200 to 210 on the higher side. So most of the oil marketing company as well as refineries are looking attractive. So I think one should remain on the buying side of the trade at this moment as the near-term, short-term structures are bullish.
All right, near-term and short-term structures are bullish. I hope that answers your query. But the next query is coming in from Arya Rahul. He wants to know your thoughts on NHPC. Of course, the stock has receded from 52-week highs, back to 96.9 or thereabouts. His buy price is 93.4, making slight profit here. But would you advise him to hold on, or do you think time to take partial profits?
So very strong run up we have already witnessed for the stock. Some profit taking is happening from higher level, but still if you analyze the near term, short term structures are still in the bullish trend only. Since last couple of trading sessions, some profit taking is happening as though market is volatile, but overall I think he can remain invested. as his buying price is around 93. I think he should follow the stop loss of 90 if he has bought for near term to short term trading perspective. So 90 is the important level. If it's hold those level, then yes, again we may see a buying interest to come in this stock prices. Once stock crosses above 100 mark, then possibly this rally can extend towards 110 to 115 also.
All right, that's the view on NHPC. Hope that answers your query. But the next one is coming in from Samit, and he wants to understand whether he should buy Ashoka Buildcon more at current levels. It seems like he's already invested and he's looking out to average it at current levels. But on Friday it was down somewhere around 3.5%, and the kind of rally that it has seen over the last 1 month seems to be fizzling out as of now. Would you advise him to average it out at the current juncture?
So we have witnessed very strong rally in Ashoka Buildcon since last couple of months. Overall structure is bullish. Series of higher top, higher bottom formation is taking place. Stock almost shown some bit of profit taking from its 2018 swing high. So almost 196 is the key level on the higher side. If at all stock crosses those levels, then yes, possibly this rally can extend further also, as long-term charts are also turned on the bullish side, and looking at the near-term, short-term structure also, there is a strength in the stock prices as the stock is holding about to all its near-term, short-term moving averages. Though some profit taking is happening in the stock, but on the downside, 170, 168 is the important level for near-term trend. If it's hold those levels, then I think again some buying action will be there in the stock in coming trading session. And on the breakout above 196, there would be another rally towards 230 to 240 on the higher side.
Well, that's the view on Ashoka Buildcon then. But let's quickly take up the next query. This one is coming in on Trent from Vedanta Chakrabarti. Of course, he wants to know if there is more steam left. Of course, if you look at the last 6-month chart, it has already almost doubled. Do you see more upside on charts here on, or do you think it is slowly entering the overbought zone?
Yeah, stock is in overbought zone, but there is no significant corrective action is coming in the stock prices. Everybody is holding the stock. Even the stock has moved up sharply in last couple of weeks. Looking at the overall structure, there is no as such signal on the supply or on the weakness front. So I think he can trail the stop loss around 36.80 should be your stop loss to hold the position until the stock not breaks below 36.80. I think he should hold the position, as the overall structure is bullish and strong buying action is taking place in the stock prices. If Nifty starts moving up, broader market start moving up, so I think Trent is the outperforming stocks. We can see higher level towards 3900, even 4000 kind of level also. So 3680 should be your stop loss to hold the long position.
All right, note that level. That should be your stop loss. But a couple of banking queries coming in. Siddharth Jain wants to know your thoughts on Bandhan Bank. Of course, numbers came out on Friday. Asset quality, has been a disappointment. And if you look at the brokerage views, we've seen EPS cuts coming in as well. This has been one of the weakest links in the banking sector, right? Look at 1 month chart, 6-month chart, you'll see that the stock has, not really given positive returns. And, going forward, if somebody has positions here in Bandhan Bank, post earnings, how should one go navigating it?
Yeah, it's underperforming stock in the banking pack, and series of lower top, lower bottom formation is taking place. So that clearly shows that sustained supply pressure is there in the stock prices. Stock is trading below to all its near-term, short-term moving averages. Also, that clearly shows that there is a bearishness in the stock prices for near-term also. Stock is now trading near to its critical support area, multiple support area, that is critical area around 210. That's the important level to watch for post earning. If at all stocks breaks below those levels, then possibly we can see further more downside to continue, and we can see a level below 200 also in the continuation of this down move of Bandhan Bank. On the higher side, the major supply zone on the higher side is placed at around 225 to 230. That's the important level to watch for. If a stock crosses about 230, then there would be some comfort in the stock prices, and then we can see some more unwinding trade on the short side, and then possibly stock can show some reversal kind of sign. But at this moment, 210 needs to watch in today's session. If it breaks, then possibly we can see further more downside.
All right, that's the key level to watch out for on this particular stock. But let's talk about Vardhaman Textiles. We have a query from Tapan Thakkar. He holds 200 shares at the rate of 433 rupees per share. He wants to know what he should be doing. Very marginally in the profit here, but 440 is where Vardhaman Textile is at. What should he really do now?
So we don't track this stock very actively. So as I won't be in position to comment on this stock at this moment because we are not tracking this stock actively. So it won't be justice to give any view on this stock.
No worries. Let's quickly move on to the next one then. We have HAL reporting numbers today and Judru Pavan wants to know whether it warrants a fresh entry. Would you advise positions ahead of earnings or would you advise investors to wait for the numbers to come out?
I think very strong setup for HL, though stock is volatile in nature, but overall, if we analyze the Hindustan Aeronautical, it's continuously moving in higher top, higher bottom formation, and stock has delivered good amount of rally in last couple of months. So overall structure is bullish. If you get any opportunity in volatile market around 2800, 2780, then it's a very good level again to re-enter in HL. On the higher side, once stock crosses above 3030 mark, then yes, possibly we can see this rally can extend. As whole defense sector is showing good traction in terms of buying. So I think HL is clearly outperforming stock. I think you should try to buy if you get opportunity to buy the stock around 2850, 2800 kind of zone.
Right, that's the view then. But I'm afraid with that we've come to the end of the query segment. But before I come to your picks, Rajesh, any thoughts on Honasa? The stock did clear that 500 mark before dipping. This morning we have a brokerage call where JP Morgan has downgraded the stock. In fact, this is the top brokerage call of the day for today. On Friday, it saw a good rally, but JP Morgan has said that, it sees downside risk to growth expectations. Any thoughts here? I know it's a recent listing, but, any trend that is emerging here?
So we have very limited data setup, but looking at the whatever data we have, stock is still in supply zone. Looking at the near-term, short-term structure, until the stock not crosses above 455, 460 zone, I think there would be supply pressure is likely to be there in the stock prices. On the breakdown of 420 mark, possibly we can see further more supply towards 380, 390 kind of zone on the downside. So overall, 450, 460 is the key level to watch for on higher side. Until the stock not crosses those level, one should avoid at this point.
All right, that's the view then on Honasa. But Rajesh, before I let you go, what are your recommendations for our viewers this morning?
So first stock we would like to recommend here from the real estate space. DLF is looking promising. Very strong buying action is taking place. Stock now again managed to give breakout of its previous swing high. So looking at overall structure, we believe that one can look to buy this DLF for upside target of 865 to 870. Keep your stop loss at around 820. The second stock is from PSU banking basket. That is clearly SBI is looking very strong. The kind of buying action which we have seen in the last week, that is that shows the strong momentum is likely to be there in SBI in coming trading session. Also, we expect this rally can extend towards 755 to 760. So one can look to buy SBI also with stop loss of 705. And the third stock that we like at this moment is from pharma space, that is Sun Pharma. Though most of the pharma stocks are showing good traction and Sun Pharma is clearly outperforming stock. Stock is almost trading near to its all-time high trajectory. So we believe that outperformance is likely to be there in Sun Pharma. Possible target on the higher side we can see towards 1560 to 1580. So one can buy Sun Pharma with stop loss of 1500.
All right, those were the recommendations coming in from Rajesh this morning. With that, Rajesh, thanks a lot for taking our time, joining in and sharing your thoughts with us this morning. Well, with that, we are completely timed out on this edition of Morning Trade. Of course, we have a new listing at 10 a.m. So watch out for that. But of course, it's a goodbye from me and the team. Thanks a lot for tuning in. But stay tuned because coming up next is Opening Bell.